Okay, so the Call of Duty League is potentially going to have a bubble. This leaked the other night through a news article, which I'll link down below, but there is at least the possibility of it happening. A discussion around the subject has been happening according to the news source. This is interesting for several reasons. One, obviously people are asking if they could have had a bubble for this year's champs. It didn't happen, and the expense that goes behind these things. Realistically, a lot of people are now going to be pointing to these articles saying, oh, Scump said this and Scump said that. There are a few interesting points that I'll pick out from those discussions. People like Apathy, he said he has a wife and kids to look after. He doesn't want to go into isolation. And Scump said, I have animals to look after. These are both very good points. There are a lot of people right now discussing whether or not we should have a bubble, what it would look like, how it would go. And I think there are several reasons and ramifications that we need to look into. So first of all, a bubble, an isolation of the players for the league. Really interesting because it is a lot of work, a lot behind the scenes, and obviously people are talking about the NBA bubble, and there was this NFL bubble, and various different ways that it can work. I don't think that they are going to completely isolate the players for 6 to 8 months. Might be a hard swing. Maybe they've got some other plan in action. Maybe they'll do something else. Maybe heavy testing before and after events, cut down the number of events and figure it out that way. But it is, regardless of whichever way you look at it, right? If all the players had to move to an area, they would have to move out of their houses. This is one of the things that people are obviously not happy about. And there's the other side of it, people saying, oh, well, you're getting paid 200 grand to work in the league, get to it. And I can understand that point. Yes, these guys, this is their career. They might have to make some sacrifices like other people do, right? Let's bear in mind, and no hating on any players here, but this is a global pandemic. There is a severe amount of economic destruction going on right now, and there are a lot of people who are struggling to either get work or even feed themselves because of what is happening right now. So to be able to hold on to your job and have to move, maybe it's a sacrifice you can make. Maybe. All people's circumstances are different. I don't want to go into anything saying, oh yeah, you've definitely got to move, you've definitely got to do this, suck it up and whatever. I think there is an argument that could be made that maybe they can get some way around it and take into place, personal players' preferences. I know from a Twitch club I saw, Scump was very unhappy with the potential plan. He said, I've got a lot of things at home. I've moved out here. This is my house. I don't really want to move to some place in the middle of Dallas or Vegas or wherever they're planning on having it to actually do my job for X amount of time, because we don't know how long it would be. This is the problem with the rumour that's come out, is what is the circumstances that the players are going to be under? Are they going to be locked up in hotel rooms or an apartment block and only let out to play on LAN at some studio somewhere? We don't know. Why this is happening is, I think, even more interesting is, I think, for me, one of the main reasons this is happening is because of how badly it went this year. The players kicked up a fuss about online continuously, literally relentlessly banging on about how much detriment it was to the competitive integrity of the league when they had to play online. And you might think, oh, well, the players can suck it up, they can get over it and whatever. But the interesting part about that is it damages the brand of the league, right? So all this money for the bubble they're going to, maybe put forward and figure out, it's very expensive. You're not going to have crowds to recoup any losses at any of the homestands. You're not going to be able to sell merch at these homestands. Might be able to get a lot of content out. We'll see. But it's a heavy investment. But why are they investing? Why would they invest so much money on making a bubble on a game that you could play online but have moaning pros? And I think, I'm not confirming this, that one of the reasons, or a very good reason for it, is for the reputation of the brand. Now, bear in mind, a lot of these franchises have bought in because they believe they are going to have a stake in something that gets bigger over time, right? These franchises should be worth more 5 years down the line. They should increase in value. It is an investment for these teams, not just for the love of Call of Duty, no matter how much they might say it, just so we're clear. But with this year, obviously, players going, oh, it's terrible, and people not buying in, and we don't know whether the people haven't bought in because Activision said they have interest. Some people saying, well, it might not be a great thing in a global pandemic, but also if they have it another year and people are spitting on the league, the players are having a go, the community's having a go, the fans are saying it's bullshit, well, that doesn't increase your brand. That just makes it worse. People don't want to buy into something that has a negative reputation, or, oh, it's terrible, or it's bad, right? So the money they may outlay may help stabilise that boat. Right? They go, right, well, look, we're now fully on LAN. We can get hype about every match. We can say, it's on these LAN events. It's at these big events. The casters will probably be there, right? Better for production, let's be perfectly clear. Maybe we can get some fake crowd noise in and get a little bit back to normality and really show how, explosive and great the Call of Duty League can become. And then next year when we go to expand, new franchises come in, up goes the brand values. Fantastic. That's the money back, right? You're paying out, $500,000 each for the franchises or whatever it'll cost. But, next year, if you're worth an extra couple of million, your quid's in. That's how this works. That's how I believe it could work. Obviously, this is all conjecture. This is all just me thinking about the way that they might be able to make some money back on this, and the fact that, the players are deeply unhappy with playing online. I think that's a big factor as well. We've spoken to someone before saying, players do have a voice in this league and they are trying to push forward and go into this one. I am very curious to see what the bubble was like. If we are going to have a bubble, please, for God's sake, send in some actual Call of Duty League content teams. Get as much content as possible. Figure out a way to make these players not go absolutely spare. Mental health can be a serious issue if they go into a bubble. If it is a full isolation bubble, I don't know. I'm sure many people have ideas of going, we'll just have these teams isolate for 4 weeks each side and go X, Y, and Z, and maybe the players will have to move to a specific area of the country, like Vegas or Dallas, and then we can kind of keep control, like a semi-bubble. I don't know what a semi-bubble is, but if they can control their movement a little bit and who they're interacting with and frequent COVID tests, then maybe they can figure out a way to have safe events, right? Without actually having to lock them in a hotel room and they can only go to training or they can only interact with each other because they have girlfriends, family, pets, children. It's a bubble is not a great thing for 8 months. And admittedly, while it probably sounds like a lot of fun and the players get along quite well, that kind of isolation, even though, I'm not saying all these players are out all the time partying and having fun, but that kind of isolation is just not going to be good for anyone's health. But I'm super curious. The fact that this discussion is even being had shows that they are clearly worried about the 2021 season. And that's something that we need to bear in mind as well, that if the discussions are now being had, they don't know for certain what is happening next year, and neither do we. Are we going to spend a good portion of the first half of the year online? And maybe if COVID lets off, who knows at this point, I'm not a scientist or a medical professional, do we be able to do something later on? I don't know. I mean, I'm not an expert in COVID or viruses or anything else. I just listen to the government and the doctors who are telling us what's what, and if you don't listen to those doctors, then quite frankly, what the hell are you doing on my channel, you moron? Go do something else. Because this is an unprecedented event. And now the Call of Duty bubble will be another unprecedented event. I don't know who goes in that bubble. Do managers go in that bubble? Do coaches go in that bubble? I suspect the coaches would have to go in as well. Broadcast staff, if they're going into a live venue, are the broadcast staff going to be locked in that bubble at the same time? Or will they just be in another part of the building from the players? But even then, you need admins, right? You need stage staff. You need security. All these costs have got to come in, and these people, there's no point if they're all wandering about, right? If you've locked up a players for 8 months, but you've got security staff who rotate in and out every week, and they're all walking around the neighbourhood, or the admins or whatever. Who goes into this bubble and who comes out? Now, I don't know the exact way that it works in professional sports, but also professional sports have a lot more at stake. Like an awful lot more. And I also don't want to hear anybody tout this 300 million number about this again, because the 300 million for the franchises, or the rumoured 300 million for the franchises, is about investment into 10 years, 5 years of the league. I don't know how many years. I think it's 5. You have bought that spot for that long. It is not an infinite pool of money to just dip into when you need to do things, which most people seem to think it is. And there is a solution here. I'm sure there is. I'm sure they're working it out right now, which is why it's refreshing to hear that they're having a discussion. And I'm sure there are many people online saying, just get to it and get in that room. Players already are having a little bit of, I'm not sure I like that very much. My freedom's kind of been taken away in the fact that, I have a life. But I don't know. I'm very curious to see what you guys think at home as well, because realistically, I'm sure there are many people going, you're being paid a lot of money, get in the room. And a lot of people are going, whoa, I'm not sure this is extreme enough. So I'd love to hear people's thoughts about how they could actually pull off a realistic Call of Duty bubble, whether it's they only have 6 events and they stagger them so we can have them isolate and test or whatever. Maybe we have 3 back-to-back. I don't know. But it's an interesting conversation that is at least being had. and I want to see what comes out of it. Hopefully this video has enlightened you into some thoughts of why it may be happening or what is happening with the Call of Duty bubble. But I've been Bryce, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.